Welcome to my workshop. I hope you had fantastic Christmas, really fun at the New Year's, but now it's time to get back to the normal grind again. And that's exactly what's happening in my workshop. So let's get straight to a couple of projects I want to tackle more or less in the next 2 months. The window behind me, that's the first project, the bigger project in the workshop I want to tackle. Now, because it's a window, it's obviously not insulated and it causes me two issues. First of all, in the winter, like now, it's letting a lot of cold air, a lot of cold into the workshop. In the summertime, it's the other way around. Plenty of warmth is hitting my workshop through that window. And on top of it, it's a bit of a dead space in the workshop. And the third thing really is that it causes issues for my camera as it's an additional source of light and is just sometimes messing around with my camera and with the lighting. So I need to sort that out. Now the plan for that is to insulate it with the silver foil. I've got some foam left, and what I want to do is some sort of a shelving unit in that. Obviously it's not going to be permanent and I need to have some airflow through that so moisture won't be an issue. Although I have to say in my workshop it's fairly dry and I never had moisture problems here anyway, but you know, let's have something to prevent any potential moisture or dampness, and I'm gonna sort that out as well. So storage area in that place, and for that task I'm just going to be using mainly MDF. I've got the MDF for the main structure that will be on the window, so again that material will help with the potential moisture issues. Everywhere outside of it, the shelving and everything else will be just normal plain MDF. The next big project is the wood rack. Okay, I had it for years now, and to be fair, it did its job to a certain degree, and I think it was a fairly successful project. However, now I find it that there's a lot of dead space in here, and sometimes to dig out a board that I want for a project, tell you what, I just can't be bothered. It's really difficult, especially when you've got additional lumber like I've got just below here. As you can see, I've got the pine beams and I've got just no place to put them. So I'm thinking of a two-way solution here, guys, and I do need your input. I do have a question and hopefully you can help me out with this one. So what am I thinking? Okay, obviously the whole thing, the whole construction I've got now, that will go. And I want to utilize that whole section of my workshop wall. I've got a metal beam at the middle of my workshop and right to the wall. I want that to be my storage for some timber, and that will give me enough length to store the longer boards, but hopefully also a lot of space for all the timber I have now and potential timber I'll get in the future. Now, what I want to do is just some L-shape brackets that will be attached to the wall. Now, I don't want to have the metal ones I had in the UK. They were not very good, and to be fair, I should have enough timber from this rack to actually make those. Now, the problem with that, and my question to you guys, usually if you do an L shape with timber only, that's not going to be strong enough to hold a lot of timber on, as we all know. What do? You cut a triangle from MDF or from plywood to add it to the sides, and that's usually strong enough to hold any amount of wood. However, that is taking a lot of space from the holding area. So what I'm thinking, I've bought, just as an example, these metal L-shaped brackets, okay, or a full metal supports like that you put on your, I don't know, your roofs or anything else. Now, do you think that will suffice? Not having the larger triangle from MDF or plywood and just have these as the support? I think the L-shaped would be the best, as they are the cheapest, to be fair. And you know, they won't eat out on any of the space I want. So I may actually do a test and see what is holding up better. We'll see if these are better, maybe these L-shaped ones, or I'm actually just going to cut out a piece of MDF in the triangle shape and I'll do a test. I'm gonna see which one works best and probably will go with that, but I want to hear what you think as well, please. So you know what the comment section is. However, that's only a part solution to the problem I have. I still gonna have a lot of sheet materials this year, especially for the projects I'm going to be making, so I need to store that as well. So what I'm thinking as a solution here, guys, is a cart, a big one that more or less going to be as wide as the section of the wall, or the longest sheet material I'm going to have, which is 2.4 meters. So probably that's going to be the length of this cart. And from one side that will be facing the wall, I'm going to have the storage for the sheet goods. Probably, it all depends. I need to do the math and see how many I can squeeze in on that side. So I won't lose too much space for the sheet materials there, but also I will have enough for my upcoming projects, so I won't have to put them in some other awkward place. And from the side that's going to be facing the main area of my workshop, I want to have a storage area or a clamping area for clamping wood panels, okay? Or probably a bit of both. So that's in the design stage. And that's going to be obviously on wheels, so I can wheel it out, move it wherever I want if it's not needed, or if I need to get to the timber that's going to be located behind it. In that way, I'm getting a lot of storage space in a more compact manner that I am having now. And plus, additionally, I'm going to have some other options with that plain wall that will be facing the workshop that I can use for whatever I really want. So that's my options and that's my ideas for the wood storage solution. However, there's one more problem I need to tackle when it comes to wood storage. I'm not sure how about you, but when I'm doing my projects and I get some offcuts, they all stay. Okay, and usually they become an absolute mess. So I'm thinking of building 2 or 3 storage bins in here on the wall that I will be putting the longer, shorter and the bigger offcuts, and then I can easily go through them rather than just chucking on top of everything else and create a big mess. So yeah, that's my solution for this area of the workshop. Now, as you know, I do have my CO2 laser from X-Tool, absolutely fantastic machine, by the way, and that will become the part of my ongoing business in the future. And in this part of the workshop, because I do have the vent, I'm going to be building a cart for the CO2 laser that's going to be on top, as it is a fairly big unit. However, underneath, I want to utilize that space for a diode laser and a red dot laser, so I'm covered in all aspects and I can do any projects I want in the future. So that will be an interesting project here with some storage solutions, and yeah, hopefully that will grow my business and elevate my earnings this year. And as we are on the topic of earnings, some of you know, some of you may not, that YouTube and what I do, woodworking, this is my business. This is how I earn my money and my income. And I know that some of you got annoyed with the amount of all the videos with lasers that were sponsored last year on my channel. However, that's the main way I was able to actually earn some cash so I can reinvest in my workshop and obviously have an income for my family. At the moment, I'm still on the low tax bracket as I'm not finished with 2 years running my business, and there's a offer, a tax offer that for the first 2 years your tax is much lower. It's the tax and the insurance itself, but that is coming to an end. From Feb of this year I'm going on normal tax and normal insurance, which means probably about 40% of my current earnings after tax and after insurance will have to go to pay the new tax and to pay the new insurance. So I need to find new ways of countering that and earning enough money to actually have a normal wage, as if I don't, that means I'm going to be below minimum wage when that happens. And I'm not talking minimum wage in the UK, I'm talking about the minimum wage in Poland, which is not a great place to be. So sponsored videos will still be a part of my channel. However, I will be trying to spread them more apart and cover different types of topics, actually, not just lasers. Although I do believe that a laser is a fantastic addition to a workshop, as you can personalize, you can do a lot of things on it. And there's a video coming very, very shortly. I'm just going to tease you a little bit. If you've got a CO2 laser, you can make some fantastic templates from acrylic. And you'll see how that works on my video, although I'm actually going to be focusing on how you can do it without a laser. So don't worry, it's not going to be just a video about laser, and it's not a sponsored video either. But they do have a lot of really cool features that you can utilize in a workshop environment or in a DIYer's environment, and they really do help a lot with some really cool projects. Now, instead of having full-blown sponsored videos on a specific product, what I'm trying to do as well is to actually have like 60-second adverts within a project video talking about a product of some sort. So I do have a couple of companies that reached out to me, and that's what's going to be happening in the hopefully for the rest of this year. So I'm going to have a steady income flowing through. So if you are watching my video on a project, on a topic that you're interested and the ad comes up, if you want it, you can watch it. If not, 60 seconds, move the slider and you're back on track with the project. I think that's one of the solutions that I can come up with that's not too annoying for you guys. I also had a few comments saying that you preferred my channel before when I was in the UK and I was actually buying my own tools rather than the companies sending them to me. Now, there's a couple of things about that. Most of my tools are actually from Evolution. Rage 5S, my track saw, my circular saw, the Minter saw that's in the Workbench, flip-top Workbench, and they were all supplied by Evolution. And hopefully, as you did watch those videos, you know that I wasn't saving them from any potential critique. If there was something wrong with them, I told you, and I didn't pay for them. There are tools that I did buy from my own money, like the Metabo thickness planer, the jointer from Titan, but I also do it now. The chip extractor, that was a massive cost to me, and I've bought that out of my own pocket. Now, the difference between then, when I was in the UK, and now in Poland, is that in the UK, I actually had a normal job, a fairly well-paid job to add to that. And I had a fantastic wife that allowed me to actually spend some of our money onto the tools in my workshop, as that was my passion and still is. And if you go through the videos on my channel, you know that I do a lot of tool reviews, and I am a bit of a tool freak. I love tools, I love tech, like the lasers, I just love it. It's part of my channel, and it will always be the case, as what I do before I actually purchase something, I do research on it, so my purchase is educated, okay? So I know exactly how the machine looks, how it performs, and what I can expect from it. And that's my thinking behind doing reviews on this channel. That's why I do re-reviews of the tools I have after 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, so you know exactly as a customer what to expect, regardless if the tool is sent to me free of charge or if I bought it myself. And hopefully by the years that my channel lasted, you know that is the case. So back then I had an additional wage that was bringing in money, and part of it I was able to spend on tools. Now is a lot harder for me, as this is my main source of income and it's not that great, and it's becoming worse by the years as the global crisis, the taxes and everything goes up. So it's a little bit harder for me to do that. It's a little bit harder for me to buy new tools by myself. However, there is one big purchase that I'm thinking about, is a jointer, as the Titan jointer is just not cutting it for me. It's too small, not powerful enough. And actually for me, it's a big saving if I can buy roof lumber and mill it myself rather than buy milled lumber, as the prices of that is horrendous. So there will be a big investment from my side in the workshop. Not sure if I'm going to have the cash this year, but probably in the next 2 years I will make that investment, as it is a very important tool in my business and in my workshop. So hopefully now you understand a little bit better where I'm coming from and how everything works around my workshop and on my channel. And at this point I do also have a bit of announcement for you guys. It ties in with the earning possibilities for me, as I need to branch out a little bit so I'm able to actually earn a normal wage. So this is something that I've actually mentioned probably a year ago, or even before that on one of my channel updates. There's two more passions that I really like to engage with, and I do it anyway regardless. So it's my garden. It's my vegetable garden. I love that to bits, and I do spend a lot of time in that, growing my own vegetables. And the second thing, as you probably noticed, well, I love to eat. And I actually do cook, and I love to cook as well for myself, for my family and my friends. So there will be a new channel that I'm going to be making probably at the end of Feb, as the garden will start kick in. So the theme of that channel will be, well, you can grow your own vegetables and then you can prepare some really nice meals from them. So it will be gardening and cooking combined together. That's what I'm going for in this new channel. Where it comes to cooking, obviously, the recipes will not just be from what I can grow, because I am still limited in what I can grow in there. But it will be based on some Polish traditional foods, but also foods from the UK, where I spent 15 years of my life. So I think it will be very interesting to see a Pole cooking some English dishes. In that perspective, I think it could be a very interesting and maybe sometimes funny channel. So hopefully some of you that do have an interest in those topics will join me on that new channel, but all that information that will come later on when I'm actually ready to go. At the moment I'm just finalizing a few things, so yeah, when that's up I will let you know. Since I've moved to Poland, I've actually stopped making things from resin for sale. I used to do knife scales and pen blanks when I was in the UK. I had a couple of guys that were just, you know, buying them off me. However, when I moved to Poland and Brexit happened, sending that stuff from Poland to the UK became a little bit problematic, and with the customs and everything else. However, I will be returning to that. I will be having some new offers, and all of those things will be on my Etsy this time for everybody to have a look at. I do actually have a nice stack of really cool featured timber for those resin projects. I actually had a company that were supporting me with the resin projects. That was Resin Pro. It's an Italian-based company. I fully recommend their resin. Very good products if you want to use that for pen blanks or anything else really. They do have the full spectrum. However, I now reached out to several companies to see what else I could try out in the coming year and see what products I could do. And one of the companies that sent me some stuff to check out is Let's Resin. It actually looks quite posh in a way, the packaging and everything else. I've not come across that before, and they do have an online store with more or less everything you want from a resin store in one place. So I've been messing around with them with really good results. So I will be sharing some videos with you across the whole year. I think there will be some projects where it comes to resin, but I do have a full list of tutorials when it comes to resin. Again, like I did in the past, I had 10 videos, 10 tutorials for you, and I will be having some of them. At the moment I've got 6 tutorial videos when it comes to resin in the pipeline, so I will be covering that topic, as a lot of people that are still actually watching those videos about resin that I did still send me a lot of messages, emails of plenty of questions. So yeah, I'm having a lot of viewers actually watching my channel because of the resin work I did, and I want to go back to that a little bit and have some products to sell as well as the process goes on. On top of that, one of the bigger projects I will be tackling in the workshop itself, it will be the new workbench. Finally, I more or less finalized the SketchUp plans with that. Tell you what, that was a bit of a doozy to create those plans, as every single week I was thinking about something else, a new suggestion, trying to implement that. In the end, we're gonna have a look if it's a Frankenstein of a workbench or something that is actually useful. But until I built it, I won't know. But hopefully you'll join me on that journey as well. On top of that, I will be making a lot of storage solutions. I want to utilize every single inch of this space, as I still got plenty of boxes with stuff around the whole perimeter of this workshop in the 2 rooms. And recently I was looking for something. I went through this stuff and I said, oh my God, I've got so much stuff here I've not even opened yet. It's crazy. Okay, so I need to pull that out to see what I actually have. So that's one of my problems I need to tackle this year. Now, as you know, in my workshop currently I've got 2 table saws, the Rage 5S and the Metabow over there, and a lot of you were asking which one I'm keeping and why the Rage 5 came back from its hiding. Well, the main reason is I've got so many jigs for my Rage 5, I could not be asked or bothered to actually make them for the Metabow. And I had a few projects that I needed those jigs, so Rage 5 came back. And as I saw, it works absolutely fine, guys. If you tune it up correctly, it's fine. However, when I'm going to be building my new workbench, a table saw will be integrated in it. And at the moment, my brother, because the Metabow is actually not mine, it belongs to my brother, but at the moment he doesn't want it back and he's not sure if he ever will. So I may actually use the Metabow going forward and have some new jigs and some new things built just for that table saw, rather than the old beaten up Rage 5S. I've actually invested a fair amount of money in some timber. I've got 3 beautiful boards, American walnut, you know, that will look absolutely amazing. And on top of that, I've bought some oak. I think I've got 6 really nice featured boards as well. They still need to sit around in my workshop for a while to get to the correct moisture levels, but yeah, there will be some really interesting projects with those awesome types of wood. If you watched my previous updates, channel updates, you know that I've ordered a lot of material for my upcoming projects in the workshop, but also in the house, some wardrobes and all that. So I've ordered a lot of MDF, some plywood sheets, from a place that had the best price in my local area. However, I've actually lost money on it. So I've paid a deposit, never had the MDF boards, and never had the deposit back either. So yeah, it happens in Poland. I got scammed a little bit by the looks of things. So I've looked around for some new suppliers. So as you can see, I already got some Emma MDF. Obviously the prices are even higher than it used to be, but I've got a nice supplier that do have this stuff in stock, so I don't have to order the whole thing at once and then figure out where to store it. And actually they're not too far away from me, so the delivery is, you know, it's not an issue at all. So as I need it, I can buy it from them and they will deliver, but obviously at a much higher price range. So I just wanted to give you an update on that as well. Now, there are still 2 tools that I really want to have in my workshop that I've actually not used before. One of them is a lathe, and to be fair, that's a whole separate section of woodworking, wood turning, absolutely fantastic hobby to have. For me, it will be just an addition, not a focal point of my channel. However, I've still got no money allocated to that, or neither of the companies actually got in touch with me if I wanted to try any of the lathes. So at the moment, that's on the wish list. The second tool is a CNC machine. As you know, I love lasers and I love a bit of tech, and CNC machine would be a fantastic thing to have. However, I don't have space for a massive CNC machine, nor I have the cash to actually buy one. And most of my viewers don't have both of those things either. However, I still want to have the opportunity to see if there are smaller versions, something that you can still allocate a bit of space in your workshop and it will do a decent job for a reasonable amount of money. So I went out and got in touch with a few companies out there making those smaller desktop CNC machines. So I am in talks with some of them, and we'll see, hopefully in the next 3 or 4 months I will get a machine of this type. Again, small spec, probably a beginner's and entry-level CNC machine, but I don't really need anything bigger than that, and most of you guys probably won't be tackling massive projects with a CNC either. However, if I, somehow feel very comfortable with it and it will prove itself worth and useful like the lasers are, and it will bring me some money, I may then invest in a bigger machine. But for now, that's what I'm waiting for, and hopefully you will see a small desktop CNC machine in my workshop really soon. And that will give us an indication if a machine of that type is worth the time, worth the money, and if it actually brings anything to the table when it comes to having additional income from your workshop and from your hobbies. And there you go, guys, quite a few updates, quite a few information to be sharing with you. And as always, if you've got any ideas of a video you want to watch or a topic you want me to cover or anything else, you know where the comment section is. But for now, thank you very much for watching, thank you for your time, and I hope to see you on my next video. Take care.